So the weekly matchups to look forward to, Brian. Let's start out with Atlanta versus Toronto. What do you like about that game?
Yeah, so I think what we saw in the Toronto DC matchup this last weekend, them giving up 3 goals, immediately put me on their watch list defensively, or like their defense. Like I want attackers against that defense. Atlanta has some good attackers. I like that there.
We saw
Also,
what Almeida did over the weekend against San Jose. We
yep,
talked about that
yep,
game a lot last week, and San Jose almost put up a
yep,
clean sheet. It was 1-0
yeah,
going into the 92nd minute, and then Thiago Almeida did World Cup winning things. So yeah, can't
yep,
stop that.
yep. Yep. So I'm doubling down on the stoppage time winners with this matchup here. And then also, I mean, yeah, but I mean, they had combined 8 goals between those 2 games, and I mean, they're also the odds makers have them as the favorite to score more than 3.5 goals combined this week. So definitely a game that, I mean, I'm always kind of checking for those odds in terms of just which game really looks likely to score a bunch of goals, and this one seems to be the most likely based on what the odds makers are saying right now. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that game. LAFC versus Portland Timbers. They're also set at plus 140 over 3.5 goals. So they're the second highest likely to have this over 3.5 goals, based on what the odds makers are saying right now. And LAFC is also a really heavy favorite, minus 220. So what I'm thinking for this game is, and especially, and it's also like for me, I didn't really think too much of how Portland played. I watched that game live against SKC, and I wasn't super impressed. I mean, Mosquera had his debut goal, but I mean, after that, they really didn't seem very convincing going forward. And I feel like they kind of got away. I mean, their goalkeeper had to make some really nice saves, and they kind of had to just kind of bunker down a bit. And that's really hard to do against LAFC, a team that's going to be likely fresh. I imagine they're going to come out kind of like Philly did, not like Charlotte did, or a few other teams that come out not quite as fresh. But I feel like they're going to come out kind of hot, just because that's how they're built. And so I expect to a decent amount of goals in this game, and probably most of them coming from LA. So that's kind of where I'm looking at there. You have something on that, Blake?
Yeah, and so just how you said LAFC is going to be fresh, Portland Timbers are going to be probably coming in under, I mean, not heavy legs, but under short rest. They played the Monday night soccer game on that we watched because of the weather out on the West Coast. So they're going to be coming in on short rest. Evander, he didn't look great. He was kind of underwhelming. I stayed up late that night just to watch him, and he didn't really blow me away. It'll take him some time to adjust to MLS, I'm sure. And then Yemi Chara, if I remember correctly, he went down, I believe, in the opening 30 minutes with an injury, so they're going to be missing him as well. So a couple of those two things with them being on short rest and LAFC coming in fresh, this could be a big game for LAFC.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last, you're gonna like this, Blake. The last game I have on the list is Columbus Crew versus DC United. Again, DC United was in a big game with a lot of goals. They won 3-2, but they still, I feel like they struggle a little bit at the back. Gave up a couple goals at home. Columbus Crew's also just given up their best center back to San Jose and Jonathan Menza, and they gave up 4 goals to, I mean, which is respect. I mean, Philadelphia is going to probably put goals on just about anybody this year, but it definitely looks like Columbus Crew are a little bit weaker at the back than in years past. And I mean, just the Nancy signing, as have him be their head coach, shows a change in direction in terms of wanting more progression, wanting more attack. And I feel like this game could easily have a lot of it. I also like Columbus Crew players because of how poorly week 1 went for them fantasy wise. There's a lot of value in those premium players, like Cucho Hernandez dropped 0.3, Zella Rayan dropped point. So you've got their premium players coming in a little bit cheaper just because you had to get through week one Philadelphia on the road. So there's a few different reasons for liking that game. I like the value of Columbus's premium players this year because I didn't play them last week, and so I'm gaining value by picking them this week. And they're playing in what I would say is a plus matchup at home against DC United.
I agree with that. One of those premium players is going to be my tap in of the week. So